or do you just roll them out online? And then if you do, then like how long do you test it for?
That's a good question. Yeah, so these are all like data from the wild. It's everything we're pushing out. We usually test, so it kind of depends. One is from our initial assumptions of how much data we need for statistical significance. For the one where it's showing the carousel preview, that we found statistical significance pretty quickly that we're like, cancel the experiment, push all the creative to this one. It sort of depends on the data. There's some where it's so overwhelming that it's working so well that we're able to do it very quickly. There's some where we'll gather data for a couple weeks and it's like, well, we're not seeing any differences here. So it depends. Yeah.
Did you extend your survey by taking the context in consideration? By context, I mean the timing when you receive or not.
Yeah. So like the yeah.
At 8 o'clock on Sunday, it's unlikely to catch a lot of attention, of course, and also the difference between solicited or unsolicited advertisement. Sorry,
what was the last thing you said?
The difference between solicited or unsolicited ads.
So what would a solicited ad be?
For instance, I would like to buy a car, so I give some advertisers the right to send me some advertisements about the car. Unsolicited
I got you.
is, for instance, I don't know, a bottle of mineral water. Not interested. So, do you believe that I can give a lot of attention to something I didn't solicit myself that apparently couldn't be of interest for me?
Yeah, so that's a good question I think given so we don't do anything in particular with search. You'd expect that with people searching and then give them those kind of ads. I think we do optimizations in terms of publishers and content on pages. So given certain pages that people are on, what's the likelihood that they're actually going to be engaged with a particular ad? Let's call that still like relative. Still, people aren't saying I want to see this ad. But it's we do optimizations in terms of content it's on. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, so I think a lot of the data was based on seconds and how long they're staying and looking at the ad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also have data on how many people then click through?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great question. Are you guys going to talk about that at all? Should I talk about it now?
You can talk about it.
Yeah. So we see like really cool stuff in terms of if we map out the probability that somebody is going to click on something as a function of the amount of time that they spent with that ad. So it's for the brand metrics I showed you. It's these survey-based things. But if we map on the y-axis, what's the probability that somebody clicks? You see the exact same relationship, where it's which is great because what that shows us is that the more times people spent, just the increased likelihood that they are to click through. We also see that with swipes. We also see that with various tap measures as well. So a lot of these, almost every metric we've run so far correlates really well with the amount of time that people spent with that creative. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
You were showing us the screen flow before. Were those just examples of what someone's screen would look like, or are you actually tracking? Was that an example of someone's actual screen? And if not, is it possible to track people's track of screen flow or a little video of their screen?
So yeah, that was just a demo. That wasn't someone's actual screen. That was screen emulator that we have. The data that we do collect is, we know where on the page it's happening. We know what page they're on. Then we know the exact amount of time for various metrics. So we know when the ad is 50% on screen, 100% on screen. We know when it's 50% off screen, fully off screen. We know every tap interaction that people are doing with that. So we know if people are hovering on stuff. We know if they're tapping it and holding it. So it's not an exact like video feed replica of that. That would be a lot of data to actually get that, but we have a lot, plenty of key metrics that let us approximate it. Yeah, good question.